Hello and welcome to the show. On tonight's program, we go inside a local lottery, see what it takes to make a great chuck wagon team, but our first guest is MLA Lloyd Snelgrove. All that and more tonight on Around the Region. The Lloydminster Health Region has been providing support for over 25 years, and Georgina Altman is here to tell us all about their upcoming fundraiser. After that, we head out to the home of Benz Miller Racing and get an inside look at how this family works together to win year after year. But our first guest is a member of the Government of Alberta, and has some pretty impressive cabinet positions as well. MLA Lloyd Snelgrove is our first guest. MLA Lloyd Snelgrove joins us here in studio, and among some of your other impressive titles, you are also the president of the Treasury Board. Can you tell me what exactly goes on with the Treasury Board? What exactly does that profile entail?
Well, we have two sides to the government finances. One is the regulatory, the tax side, that they raise the money. The Treasury Board is in charge of spending. So, you've got in and out, and we're trying to look after the out.
That's got to be fun spending all that money, or is it a little stressful?
Where
does it end up most days?
It's incredibly interesting. It's also quite a challenge. I think it was Aristotle who said, whatever man can judge to give which man whatever is, I think he's probably a miracle worker. It's the process that we've put in place that actually makes it easier for us, though. We've engaged caucus far more than has ever been done in Alberta on maintaining priority spending areas. And then the other thing that we did that was a little bit unconventional was we didn't just say, guess what, here's the budget for this year, go back and we'll see you again next year. We've got lines in our budget that say, spending reductions or unallocated reductions, so the departments can work together for a few months and say, there might be savings here or there is savings here. And, rather than take a crapshoot one day in March and say, that's it, that's the way the world's going to be for this year, we've said that the world changes so quickly. And I don't know any other province or state that actually allows that flexibility within a budget. I mean, your parameters are the same, but just the way we approach it's a little different.
Was that really important to have, too, considering the economic state that we went through over the last year and a bit?
Well, if you want to have input in how you change things, then you have to stay involved on a year-round basis. And so while things are changing and we're able to set out the big picture totals as we work through some of the cooperative approaches that departments have made or some of the issues around safe communities, you have to have that flexibility through the year to manage what you might call the little things, the millions here, the millions there. So, we do lay out the big budget number, and that's it. But this keeps MLAs and the committee work year round to make sure that you're not only achieving what you set out to do, you're able enough to be flexible because things change, even within the year.
And you said year round. Obviously, we're getting ready for the summer break. Let's look back at the last session of the legislative. What was one or two of some of the things that you thought went really well?
Well, the budget process, for one, we'll follow it again this year. We consulted with many different agencies, boards, whether it's a manufacturers association or the Canadian Federation of Independent Small Business. We let them come in to us with the groups of unions and other people who are looking for money from the budget, and these are the ones that are putting it into it. We had a discussion about, where the priorities meet, and it was a very useful process because at the end of the discussion, you could clearly see where Albertans are, whether they were from an industrial background or from a service background.
There were several groups leading up to the budget who were even protesting in front of your office, but when it came out, they weren't as upset as they thought they were going to be. There may have been a cut here in education or in healthcare, but they were expecting deep cuts, and we didn't see that this year. Was that a kind of a plan not to cut too deep?
A little premature protest.
Maybe a little, yeah.
We have been working for about a year before with the deliverers of the Alberta Health Services about how important it was to put multi-year funding in place. And, we had to spend a lot of time to be able to be certain that you could measure the success of the 5-year commitment we made. And I really have to give a lot of credit to the rest of our caucus group and to the many people that are involved in the budget, because there really wasn't any leaks that came out that would have given information that there was going to be an increase in health or there was going to be a slight increase in education. So, the process really worked. And I tell you, it's as I've traveled Alberta and as we are doing now in our spring travels, health is the most most important issue. It's the one that is, everyone is saying, you know, we need to deal with it. We need to be the leaders in Canada around it, because Albertans genuinely have an open mind about it. They know that we couldn't sustain growth at 12 or 13 or 14% a year, and yet they want and will have access to the best publicly funded healthcare system in Canada.
When we return, Snelgrove and I discuss Alberta's future. Alberta has the advantage of the oil and the ag industry here. With the three provinces joining together, do you think that's going to put us in an even brighter spot out in the east and out in Ottawa?
I think when you can sell to other investment groups, companies, sovereign funds, that you've got 9.5 million people or 10 million people that virtually have every raw product in the world.
That's next on Around the Region. Now more with MLA Lloyd Snelgrove. Let's talk about the new Western Partnership. You want to maybe explain a little bit to me? I know it has to work with Tilma, but what are some of the benefits that Alberta will see from this partnership?
Well, Lloydminster, I mean, is a perfect example of where government regulation or legislation can get in the way of some really productive things. And I'll tell you one really simple one that most people would, I mean, there are a lot of these are just the Oprah aha moments. How you can have meat processed on the Saskatchewan side of the border here, sold in a Sobeys store, so I can go and buy it and take it back to Vermilion and eat it. No one can, but they can't sell it in Vermilion. Or the cow is making its entire life in Alberta, it gets sent over to Diamond 7, bam, you can't sell that meat in Saskatchewan. Little things, I don't say little, things like that are multiplied time and time again, and finally our three governments are at the table saying, this isn't about compromising health or safety, it's about really recognizing what's going on. And you know, I think most people would actually be surprised that last September in Calgary, when the three premiers met, that was the first time in the history of our provinces that those three premiers got together.
You hear it all the time too about the Alberta advantage. Alberta has the advantage of the oil and the ag industry here. With the three provinces joining together, do you think that's going to put us in an even brighter spot out in the east and out in Ottawa?
I think when you can sell to other investment groups, companies, sovereign funds, that you've got 9.5 million people or 10 million people that virtually have every raw product in the world, a skilled workforce, you know, reasonable, responsible environmental regulations, and they're ready to work together. There's no downside.
What's next for you? What are we looking forward to back to legislation in the fall? What are some of the projects you're going to be working on over the summer?
You know, the most critical thing for me is working on coordinating the way we deliver programs now. Treasury Board itself, you know, with a smaller department, but with the responsibility of kind of guiding the way we approach the issues. And I think most people would tell you, including our seniors, we want to get the support, but you know, we're sick of forums. We don't think we need to be reassessed this or that. How can we do what we do better where all three can benefit? Where the person who's getting the benefit, the senior or the one with needs, they're getting it timely and probably better. The taxpayer can win, because if we do it more effectively, coordinate departmental responses more efficiently, and the frontline workers get the responsibility to make good judgment decisions out where they work. And that's what I'm working on, is as far as I'm concerned, rethinking how some of the programs have developed so that, and just a really quick example if I can, nothing is more troubling to me than a young person who's got special needs or has been in a family that gets care given to them, then has an 18th birthday.
And they lose everything.
And everything changes.
Yeah.
There's no reason. We know, you know, you go from grade 1 to grade 2 to grade 3. We know in many cases these people need care, a lifetime plan for care. And working on issues like that are absolutely what I'm, any extra time, that's what's important to them. Parents need to know someone cares about their kid or their child, and as we develop life plans for them.
Well, our guest has been MLA Lloyd Snelgrove. Thank you so much for coming in and being a part of the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
When we return, we'll head out to Dewberry for a look at what it takes to make a great chuck wagon team. But after the break, we'll have a look at some of our top news stories. That's next on Around the Region.